Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over teams for the new Mythic of the Arachnaean Weaver. It is in the Glory Gem Guild and VIP chests as the only Mythic currently in the drop table, and then it'll be in the drop table with everything else later on. So, let's go and get into some teams for him. This is a relatively mid-range Mythic, maybe slightly above. Very few purposes for it, though it does excel at a few things. For one, it is the only troop in the game that has both stealthy and impervious, which is pretty nice. Other than that, it's the only troop in the game that has the capability of webbing all enemies. Web is a mechanic that for its duration will reduce the enemy's magic down to 0. This still means that it will be able to do its ability, it just means whatever is in purple value that it boosts based on magic is going to be reduced by a pretty good margin. It is also impossible to lose or gain magic while you are webbed. Other than that, it does true damage to the last two enemies at a pretty above average amount. And then if an enemy actually dies, it will do 15 explosions, which is static and quite a lot, actually. It's basically as much as a Gorgoltha or a normal exploder would end up doing to the board, so very, very decent in that regard. Actually has the highest mana accumulation of anything that has true damage, though it's not consistent in that it needs to be able to actually land a kill in order to do it, whereas things like Meriff will be able to do it more consistently. Though generally, true damage doesn't really have any way to regain its mana, so really nice to see an option that actually has it. Two big downsides to this troop is it has ridiculously low durability. This is mainly because it has a relatively decent attack, and anything that has a higher attack will have a lower HP and armor, so a little bit bad there. Other than that, it also has a near useless final trait where it just summons a Tome Spider. Tome Spider does do a little bit extra damage on the skulls and such to webbed enemies, and it doesn't have any color conflict, which is nice. Other than that, the troop itself is relatively underpowered and doesn't really do too much. So, yeah, it's not really going to be too useful. You're mainly using it for its stealthy and impervious as far as traits are concerned, and it is one of the weaker final traits that any Mythic has. But let's go over some teams. As we will be doing this video, we'll be going over 3 different various teams. This one right here is my personal favorite as far as what I've found with it so far, and that is Gorgoltha, Catris the Bull, with the Arachnaean Weaver itself, as well as a Mercy to kind of get things going. Unfortunately, with this current board, it doesn't look like we'll be able to get going that way, but we'll go take a little bit of brown, get ourselves the full mana. Ideally, we'll have a Mercy here, and it's just sitting there. That'll pretty much get Arachnaean Weaver up. We go throw a nice Gorgoltha, and ideally, we'll be able to start getting this rolling. Nope, looks like we'll have to throw one more Gorgoltha, then we can get it rolling. So, Catris the Bull. There are instances where it is better than Ubstet, oddly enough, and this is actually one of the teams where it will be. Basically, what we'll be able to do is get a kill with this, get the half damage to lower into kill range, go through this to go get our explosions, and we basically keep spamming that until we win. So we'll go do that again. Throw down another Weaver since it's already in range. Throw a Catris right there. I want to get rid of this guy first because he's obviously about to cast, so we'll go do that. They're webbed, so whatever they have that's based on magic will be reduced. So you can see this still gets to double an ally's attack, but it only does 1 life gain. There are things that don't have any boost based on magic, though, and against these kind of things, it does literally nothing, so it'll still do its full effect if it was to cast. But we'll just go and kill it with Catris at this point. Don't even need to throw that again. Already within range, and that's basically how that team works. It's pretty tanky. Biggest issue it has is it can fall behind pretty quickly, and the general issue that Catris the Bull, of course, has is as he takes damage, he becomes less and less effective constantly. I'm actually going to go and get rid of this mana drain one, because I don't believe we have anything here that will be able to deal with that much mana drain, so we will repick that real quick. And it's probably even stronger now, but we'll give it a shot. But we're using Green Seer, Giant Spider Loop with Kraken, and the Weaver all the way in back. Basically, the whole premise with this is we infinitely loop, keep chipping it down with Kraken. Kraken hits the same 2 last enemies. Unfortunately, they are using 2 different damages. Kraken does physical damage, of course, whereas the Arachnaean Weaver does true damage, but we're still hitting the exact same target, so that alone should hopefully be enough. Ideally, we'd have a slightly better board here with a little bit more green. Doesn't look like we have too much to go for. That being said, we're just... Oh, didn't take that yellow. Notice after the fact, but oh well. But we'll want to go and kind of get this loop going. Green Seer back to Giant Spider over and over and over again. That is basically how this team always goes. And once we kind of get that into a decent enough loop, we'll be able to lower them into range. We can just double cast with this. We can go for some Krakens once we get the board cleared a little bit more. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have much follow-up. Giant Spider has to go on green in order to actually work here, which, for the most part, we don't really want to do unless we absolutely had to. So right here, we could do it on red, and I would want to do it on that. Then we can do it on green, and I believe we'll be able to keep the loop going. And it's pretty much just standard infinite loop kind of teams. Let's see. We'll take the skull over. Keep getting our entangles down, keep getting our disables. We technically can entangle and web the entire enemy team with this team, basically meaning we are capable of disabling everything that the opposing team can do, for the most part, since that will reduce its attack to 0 as well as its magic to 0 with the web. So basically a full disable to the entire team, which is kind of cool, which we'll be able to do. There's a couple other ways that you can do it too, but this is just one of them. You can do it with Yasmin. Basically anything that has entangle, you'd be able to do it with. That would still be able to synergize with it. So right here, I think I'm going to go for a Kraken that will lower into... Actually, it won't be into range yet. So you know what? I'm actually going to wait just a little bit on that. I'm going to go for a Convert again just to kind of clear up the board some. Hopefully get the alignment, and that does indeed give us the alignment. We have to get rid of blue, which does get rid of our extra turn potential, but I think it will still be fine overall. But let's see. At this point, we might as well just go straight into the Kraken. We're already in kill range. We're really even going to need the actual aspect of it. But we'll go and throw the last little hit there. He's going to get some Uber Step, but it doesn't actually do enough damage. And yeah, we did use the Weaver a little bit later in that, but of course, we can go throw it a little bit earlier, throw it for the web so that they're disabled and they don't have either the 2 stats to use, or we could just do it a little bit later on, just use it for this explosion, and then use it for whatever cleanup we need. And finally, if we can get into this one, we have a slightly cheaper version of it that ends up using the fact that we do basically true damage. We're going to be using Meriff, which is the other best true damaging troop that has mana accumulation. It does 23 basically mana accumulation every single cast, since it'll be destroying that much, or however much your magic ends up doing it to. So a pretty competent amount. It has a red link, so we do it with +2 red, so we just have a ridiculously high amount of red. We're going to be using Glitter Claw to make it easier for us to go into kill range. Of course, this normally doesn't have enough damage to go all the way, but we'll have 2 aspects that will basically allow us to do so. Glitter Claw, which has Fairy Fire, which even though it's not true damage, it will be increasing our damage by 50% due to the Fairy Fire, so we'll be able to utilize that to try to kill them out, which will hopefully bring them into kill range pretty easily. And then we have Meriff, which can keep chipping down by 6, or if they're Fairy Fire, they'll actually chip them down by 9. So that's basically the whole premise we'll be doing here. Arachnaean right up front for the quick mana accumulation, get everything going. Generally, you always want to have some kind of quick mana generation for it, and hopefully this will go through. Should be able to take out a team like this. Of course, true damage is generally pretty bad against Priest class, which he's using. It's pretty much the hardest counter to true damage currently in the game, so do have to watch out for that kind of stuff. And it is literally everywhere because of how strong the vines are at the moment, so it's a little bit unfortunate. It's one of the reasons why true damage is actually relatively weak. This Weaver does have a potential in the future, of course, as this team and other similar teams become less popular, but at the moment, with how popular they are, there isn't much to actually use these kind of teams on that the meta wouldn't just be stronger against. So right here, we're going to go get our Glitter Claw down. This will make it so it'll be easier for us to land. It'll also make it so our green will just go directly into our other 2 troops that we need, which both use green. So while we use this will get the Fairy Fire down. We now spam Meriff until we get into kill range. And we just keep repeating Meriff until we are finally in kill range. And we just have to do some math at 50% to that. That is, what is that, 16? So that would bring our damage to 48. So basically, we have to keep casting Meriff until we can do 48 damage to it to kill it out. I could go for using it preemptively right now if I really wanted to. The benefit that this would do is if he casts Ubistet or the other thing, it would make it so he can't really do anything if he casts Infernus or Ubistet. Though the biggest issue here is even Ubistet with 0 magic is still going to be enough to kill out our first lot. So with that being said, I think we go Meriff a couple times and just hope we get lucky here. And nope, not enough. He is going to get that Ubistet. He is going to clear out the entire front of our team. And we are not within kill range. So it looks like we're just going to have to double cast. We will web there, which will give a lot of reduction. He does very, very little damage as far as with the web. Same with Ubistet now. He still gets the boost ratio and everything, still be able to do the kills and all the gem spawns and all those other little mechanics that are on them. But it does make the damage overall a lot less. But it does look like here it is the end of the line. So I think we just retreat at this point and try again because we are just going to lose the Divine at that point. Let's see if we can find a non-Divine to go use it against, because that is pretty much literally the embodiment of the hard counter right there, is the heal to get rid of the true damage that we have. And we could try it against Mana Drain. Mana Drain will be annoying as this team doesn't actually have a direct counter to it. But yeah, we'll give it a shot, see what happens. Scion can be very, very annoying when you're not using a Mana Drain immune first slot. Well, never mind, no Scion. Well, that solved that problem. As you guys know, it is a Treasure Gnome event this week, so good job, Treasure Gnome. It not only gives us a lot of loot, but apparently it makes our battles easier, so that came in at perfect timing. Can't always expect that, but that is pretty convenient. But we'll go, he's still going to be able to do the rest of his team, though. Still has pretty solid rest of the team, but we'll go get this down. Should be able to get this Glitter Claw, hopefully. He's actually going to clear the board in a way that might help us. Not completely. We get a little bit of bonus, but it's not going to do a good deal. It's actually, I believe our cast is going to give him alignment, which I kind of have to give him. I don't think there's really a way around that, so we are going to throw that down. We'll throw the Meriff in there. He just takes a skull, which is, I guess at this current moment in time, fine. Hopefully the Meriff will come through with us with something right here. We're currently not within kill range. We're going to need a lot more Meriff. We could just go and double cast at this point, too. I think we are going to go down the Meriff route. Most of what he does is, he has the cleanse on this, too. It's actually a really hard counter to the Weaver as well, Divinia. It can end up cleansing everything off, and basically anything with mass cleanse, it'll be bad against Weaver, because you normally want those webs when you do try getting it on it to stay on. But this team, obviously, we're not going to gain like any benefit at all, really, from webbing it. You know what? That gnome might actually escape this battle. We're not going to have any quick enough way to kill it or press damage on it. We'll see. Try getting some extra turns off of this. Looks like we got it, so we end up just randomly getting the kill there. We're going to need to redo our Fairy Fire. Still not enough damage to kill through it, though. We still need the Meriff to go all the way. We still don't have proper alignment on the Glitter Claw. Haven't been able to get proper alignment a single time this entire time. And he also keeps gaining more and more HP, which obviously is not good, given that we're trying to kill it with HP. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff that's in the meta right now that is very anti-Weaver. Divinia is really anti-Weaver. Literally anything with clans and basically any divine team in the entire game is very anti-Weaver at the moment, and will always be. But we'll do that. Trying to just get into kill range. Web won't really do much because the silence is the most annoying part of his ability, and then the other thing will just be doing its cast regardless of its magic. We're not in kill range because it's impossible to Fairy Fire that, so we would either need to poke it or either just cast and then just do some kind of follow-up. Given the convert that he's about to do, I guess what we could do right now is move accordingly to that. So he's about to take a skull right over there, and we're going to just want to make sure we do this in a way that won't really give him as much, so I guess we'll do that. Just get rid of that red so he doesn't get it off the cascade, basically giving him almost nothing off of that. So we'll go for that, get a little bit of the hit. As you can see there's the summon coming in. It's not really the most useful of things, but at least it's one more troop to kind of tank, if nothing else. So we'll go through our Meriff there. We get a nice Glitter Claw or something. Looks like the poke comes through a little bit. But at this point, no alignment on Glitter Claw. Not going to be enough to kill. It's going to actually be 2 damage short. This 2 will not be enough. There's not even enough purple to get its effect either. So at this point, I guess we just Glitter Claw into hopefully landing an extra turn. Never mind, that actually is enough damage. And because I forgot the other thing off it. But we get the gem key, and there we go. End up getting the little gnome thingy. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Let me just go show the really good one last time, I guess. This is personally the only team I've really enjoyed using with it so far. I'm pretty sure we'll have some purposes within things like Guild Wars and such, mainly on the defend team, not so much on the invasion side of it. But yeah, it's an okay troop, nothing really too special. Pretty much just another true damaging kind of option. But at least it's nice to see a possible mana generator true damage. There are a ridiculously large lack of them. It's one of the reasons why true damage isn't even used in this game pretty much anywhere, anytime, even when it is slightly better. It's mainly, there's just no mana generators on them, so it's good to see that they are bringing more in, because now it's basically just Meriff and the Weaver itself, so not too much to choose from. But let's go and get a nice Catris down on that. Go get a nice little side, and then that's pretty much just going to wrap it in there. We'll go and I'm actually going to take it this way because that should be enough to actually still get the explosion, and then we can just kill it off the explosion itself, and there we go. But anyways, guys, that is the Weaver. If you guys have any other questions or any teams that you found that work pretty well with it, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and have a wonderful week. Best of luck if you are going to be trying for the Weaver in the drop table over the next week. Goodbye, everyone!